I was walking around this morning, and yesterday I was like, what an energetic city. And I'm so glad and proud that I'm here today to talk to you about something that is really precious to me. And it's about what brands need to know about the millennial age. And it's kind of strange, because to be honest, I'm 48. So what the hell am I doing on stage? You know, it's like the pink elephant in the room or the bald black guy. Well, first, I have two kids. One is 11, one is 14. They are Gen Z. I have a girlfriend. I'm not allowed to say her age, but let's say she's a millennial on steroids. And I got a little bit confused 2 years ago, also at my job, talking to my team members that are all also millennials. And I just started to wonder, what is this thing? And this put me on a journey that put me here today, but also early in the year, I was fortunate enough to do the same talk at South by Southwest in Austin. And I think it really resonates because a lot of people are interested in the same thing. So with no further ado, this is my story. So, short introduction about the company I work for. So I'm creative director at Dept. And we say we are a new kind of agency, and we are founded and bred for the digital age. We unite creativity, technology, and data. And we do this on multiple touch points, brand, advertising, marketing, experiences, commerce, and we also build some products, especially around Amazon. And the main thing that we always do is underlie it with creativity, technology, and data. So I came from a founding agency that exists now more than 25 years. But in 2015, we started from that agency, Dept. And we were then with 120, what we call Depsters. And now I stand here today, 4 years later, and we have grown tenfold with this story. So we seem to we feel like we are onto something. There's a lot of pictures missing. There was a map here of the world. These are our client-facing offices in blue and some, oh wow, that helps. We have a couple now in the US. So last summer, we got, our ranks were joined by Rocket Insight that have their main office in Boston, but they have a couple of more. And it was kind of cool because 2 weeks ago we had Dept Festival, and 100 of them flew in to Amsterdam to party with us. So we have great times. And I want to show you just 4 clients that we work for. So this is one. Just Dig It. They are digging holes to regreen the earth, and we started this project with a hackathon, and it's now kind of massive, going global. Another thing that we work for is Bose. Bose has augmented reality built in their sunglasses that they call frames, but it's not the visual kind, it's augmented reality by voice, and we built a bunch of the apps that surround it. Formula E, it's sort of the future of motorsports. It's electric race driving. It's the new category that tries to compete with F1, that I personally still like, but still. And last but not least, Rituals, where we do the marketing for their global e-commerce, but also connect with their thousands of offline shops. Soon, we're gonna do a takeover of the Amsterdam Central Station. We're gonna take all the screens. We will have 1,000 motion graphic designers all over the world putting up their art on all the screens in the station and all the billboards and all the things that we have there electronically. And we will have sort of one of the biggest musea in the world for one day. So these are the kinds of things we like to do. This was 2 weeks ago, and then I'll stop talking about Dept. But you'll see some of the millennials I was talking about, and 3 of the older guys, me, standing there. You can guess what group we were. But the one in the middle is the CEO, and the other one is the founder of one of the 2 founders of Dept. So we like to have fun. Enough about that. A small introduction about my story, and it's about Zeitgeist. Who knows this guy? It's Steve Ballmer, and you know, he was CEO of Microsoft for quite a while, and he's still doing kind of awesome stuff in a whole nother field. And I have a small clip.
Steve Jobs goes to Macworld and he pulls out this iPhone. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine.
This was 2007. This is only 12 years ago. So who are we to say that something is impossible just because we haven't invented it yet? Does anybody know who quoted this? Always gets me. It was me, 5 years ago. I hope one day somebody will say, it was you. But this is sort of, I follow with all the projects and clients what we work with and our teams. Like, don't say no, just try to imagine something new. It really helps if you have this sentence in your head. Another clip. I want you to guess what brand and in what year they made these clips. I made a compilation of it.
Have you ever watched a movie you wanted to, the minute you wanted to? Have you ever had a classmate who's thousands of miles away?
Yes. Calling about the touch-up page you order.
Conducted business in a language you don't understand. Or kept an eye on your home when you're not at home. You will, and the company that'll bring it to you.
Anybody, any idea? Who was that? AT&T. Oh, love you. Who was that? Oh, you get special prize.
You will, and the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
What year? Somewhere in the late 90s. Oh, jeez, you're like an expert. 93. This was 26 years ago. And why it amazes me so much is that they were talking about FaceTime. They were talking about Ring. They were talking about streaming and about Google Translate. And if you abstract that a little bit, it was about instant messaging, connectivity, machine learning, and augmented reality. And that's kind of awesome that they were able to do that. And that brings me to sort of the 2 sides, like Steve Ballmer that you saw before with the iPhone and what AT&T did. They both were sort of wrong and right at the same time, because it's very hard to predict what the future might hold, because we don't have a glass ball. But we do know it's changing brands. So I'm not going to go all the way back to the Steam, but the Model T with mass production was sort of the first thing that we were seeing with brands really making a difference. And then the digital age, it's the one that most of us, not all, still live in. It's where the Gen X lives. And right now, I think we're already up into the 4th revolution, where digital really embeds in society and humans in general. And I'm talking about things like robotics, or quantum computer, or biotech, or blockchain, or the streaming of everything to everywhere. autonomous vehicles, augmented reality, you know all these things, even influencers. And you know what really, really made me sort of laugh inside a little bit is this, because all this technology brought us this.
On a deserted island owned by Pablo Escobar. There was music, private planes, and beautiful women swimming on an island with drugs. Man, that's about as sexy as it gets. And also this rapper, his music that you listen to. So when an opportunity presents itself,
there are a lot of people in the millennial generation that are interested in experiences that are effectively like pretext for really good Instagrams.
Fear of missing out, which is kind of a core thing for millennials.
If I missed out on chili and cheese, I'd have a bad case of FOMO.
FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
So you're like a millennial?
There are plenty of people who are models and celebrities that have influence, like Kendall Jenner, Hailey Baldwin, Bella Hadid.
Now have 30 million followers across the entire Jerry network.
The campaign objective is to truly shift mainstream opinion.
What's up, fam? He's a CEO. He's a lot smarter than he looks.
I always do the induction day at Dept. So every 1 or 2 months we have 50 new people and they fly in. And I always tell them, look at FIRE. This is like a brilliant campaign. You should learn from it. Just do not forget one thing, also make a product. That's the only thing I always add to this story. If you've seen the Netflix one, please also look at the Hulu version. I downloaded it because you don't have it in Europe, but it's awesome. Great lesson. So, Red Truck. What you think? What brand? Red Truck at Christmas. So, Coca-Cola is an example of a brand that is, I think, great, but also it's a bit like the Bee Gees. You know, you try to listen to them once in a while and really think like they rock, but then you continue your day and forget all about it. So, they did a sort of a reimagined version of this clip last Christmas. I want to show a small part of it.
I didn't see snow before because traveling is not easy.
Sí, nunca había visto la nieve porque en México hay muy pocos lugares donde se puede ver la nieve.
So, their solution, show random people snow. And make it like whole touchy-feely. Now we also have influencers, right? I think there is sort of an issue. And that stems from that we as agencies and the people that we work with, they are mostly thinking in terms like in the generation 3, that we are still in digital and we just try to superimpose stuff on people. But if you look, like you have Gen Z, so that's my kids, 7 to 22, the millennials, 22 to 37, like my girlfriend, Gen X, like me, 38 to 53, and obviously every year this number rises, right? So if you look at these two these two revolutions and 3 generations, you see sort of a shift. And I think this is what we see almost every day at our work. So Coca-Cola was ruling supreme in 2011, but let's see what happens when time flies in the global brand index. And you see stuff happening. So Nokia goes out, obviously. Google goes up top, Apple goes up top. Suddenly Amazon is there in 2014. It will also rise. And the conclusion of this graph in the end will be that almost 10 of those are technology-based companies. Because technology is embedded in humans and society. And this is what I was telling you before. This is really making a difference. So new generations are like this. They at least have a beard if they're a man. All females look at their phones always. Work at coffee shops. When they go to a festival, they look like this, like trimmed like crazy. And, you know, taking selfies all day long. And when they hike, you know, they still look beautiful. And if it's in Switzerland, there's even a lake when you are on top of the mountain, right? But these are all cliches, we know this. Because she probably is the CEO of the future. And this is why it really matters that we start paying attention to these things and these people. And they have something in common also. I notice it at my work. They look straight through the ads of the brands that we work with together. Let me show you an example. So, what was that all about? Well, that was 1.7 seconds. The average time somebody spends on a digital ad right now. Yeah, so all the time that we pour into it, 1.7 seconds. I think this is a very interesting graph. So the bars, so you see countries, and the bars is the happiness index of millennials. Somebody here from France? Okay, they are at the bottom. We are almost neighbors. I'm from the Netherlands, and I can understand why they're at the bottom. But no offense, I have French colleagues. The US, it's about in the middle, and in India and China, they're quite optimistic. It's really important, because if we want to move forward and be successful with our brands, we also need to pay attention to mature markets, but also the emerging markets. Does anybody have an idea? I'm afraid for that guy over there. How many people live in the mature markets in billions? Yeah, it's a good guess. It's 1. And it's about 6.5 billion in the rest. So, a lot of positive people at the blue side. And, well, still all the others, like us, where we spend all our ideas and money and time on right now. 340 million are millennials in the mature markets, it's 32%, and about 2.5 billion in the emerging markets. However, if you add Gen Z, this figure rises to about 63%. What is massive? I'm talking almost 5 billion people today. And that's a lot of people looking at stuff like this, you know, random swiping, obviously kittens, babies, they got tons of paper. She got a lot of paper. 75% of the global workforce in 2025 will be a millennial. Everybody that works, 75% is a millennial. However, if we add Gen Z, because they will age with 6 years by then, it's 90%. So let me translate that for you in an easy way if you're a brand or an agency. In 6 years' time, tomorrow, everybody will be a millennial or Gen Z that earns money. And this is why it's so important that we start refocusing our efforts and start rethinking and addressing our resources towards the fourth revolution and these 2 generations. So, one thing bothers me a lot is where the hell did that Pokeball hype come from? So I don't know where if that's the same where you live, but if you go to England or to Sweden or Amsterdam or to Berlin, everywhere you go, suddenly Pokeballs. So my girlfriend almost turned me into, you know, a vegetarian right now. But the past few years, it really bothered me because I couldn't go to a cool place anymore and get anything else in this stuff. So was that Gordon Ramsay, a famous chef, or Wolfgang Puck, or Jamie Oliver? I'll say no. No. It's food porn. Yeah, just Google that stuff. 200 million posts on food porn, on Instagram only. People are looking at these things, and it looks beautiful, but the function is also well, because it's healthy food. And this combination is an example of what really works well right now. The biggest campaign almost out there, there isn't even a brand responsible for it. That's kind of funny to me in my work. And this really matters. Let me show you an example of something from Adidas, the global digital manager for the e-commerce environment and campaigns, wanted to visit. And I was really impressed because he wanted to grow his business from 1 to 4 billion. And I thought, like, what can I tell to a person that is doing these massive undertakings? So I did some investigation, and I came to Adidas ZNE, what I couldn't find on their website, but in the end I found out it means zero negative energy. The clothes that you wear give you zero negative energy, so you'll be able to sport better. James Harden has a contract with them for more than 200 million to promote Adidas. And I came to this sub-site, and then I found this clip of James Harden. It blew my mind.
Don't play their game, play it better. Get your head strong, attack distraction. You think this looks easy? You kidding me? Left, right, step back, shoot, all net. You kill dreams, dream killer. Focus is your weapon. They'll forget you. I'll make sure they never forget.
I went like, wow. What was that awesome? I looked at it again, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that hoodie right now. So, because I'm gonna impress the guy, and I also wanna be James Harden. You know, I'm half his size, but whatever. So, and I went from a CMS, SEO Tridion, I went to Salesforce Commerce Cloud. These are all details for the technical people. And then suddenly, I was browsing, and I found it. And I was like, what the hell? So not only it was a really big guy and a really scrunchy, teeny-weeny model, they only had it in small and medium. And it was like a massive disconnect that really hurt your brand and your sales. Because it started out so well. It was like the greatest campaign I've ever seen, and it ended up here. And that made me cry almost. And I showed the guy. I'm like, oh my God. You cannot find it anymore. After I published it on the Little Black Book, they took this away. So for new generations, creativity, data, and technology is the new normal. We need to step it up and combine all these things. Let me show you one example going live in November by Google. So gaming is a multitude on revenue than any movie out there. All the movies combined is just a teensy-weeny. It's like 1/10 of the gaming industry. Google is stepping into this. You can stream any game, high definition, to your phone or to a simple set-top box. But it's not only Google, it's obviously also Netflix, Apple Plus, Disney Plus just came out last week. And these are all great initiatives. But why they are so important to me is they define modern pop culture. It's the thing that we all now look at. So the things in the series, like in Stranger Things or whatever, whatnot, are the things that we're wearing today. These define what shoes we want, what clothes we wear. And for a very important part, also how our culture behaves. For Gen Zs, it's already more, it's past the 4 I showed you before. It's more like this. And obviously also, so this is Mr. Pokey, and he sadly he isn't here anymore, but he has like a massive following. He's still the hedgehog. And I need to show kittens because I just want to. But also very important, because TikTok has the most users, had the most users in 2018 by far, exceeded like YouTube and Facebook. And Instagram. But what they do is very interesting to me because they like to share their work on different places, like on dark social, like on WhatsApp. So it isn't contained to the platform, but it spreads. It's like a viral, and it really works well for Gen Zs. They're upstairs, I saw. So, does anybody know what the biggest concert was ever? I love you. Yeah, but you're like perfect. Thank you. How many people? Do you know? Yeah, I have more stats even. But you're right.
All right, when this song drops, I want to see everybody jumping with me. I want to see you jumping. Let's go.
So, the 10 million was concurrent, 10.7. But on YouTube, there were also 30 million streams. And there were separate streams, 20 million. And these two were in the 3 weeks after the live event. On Spotify, same day, there were 9 million more plays on Marshmallow than ever before. So this is massive. And this is a real impact. So I saw these shoes on Nike.com, but 170 euros for couple of shoes. I was like, well, maybe not. But then, if you look very closely, you'll see my son for 1 second. I got this push notification from Pepper.com telling me minus 50%, hot deal. This is curated content, and it just pushes out like through certain settings. Deals that I might like or might not like. And it got me the shoes for 76 euros. But the funny thing to me is like, it's the same shoes, it's the same brand, but suddenly I'm getting it in a whole different way. So who's my seller? After Fortnite, you just leave. It's a millennial. No. I have no time. I need to do everywhere. FOMO. Sorry. Distraction. But who is the brand that is selling me this stuff? Is it Pepper? Are the people that sharing it to me? Is it Apple that is providing the phone? Is it still Nike? This is really interesting times. So for new generations, we just see a radical shift in media. This is a collaboration again in Fortnite together with Jordan, and all the shoes you see the players wearing are actually Jordans. And they also put in an additional play mode with basketball, obviously. It's just different. It's just a different way of doing things. This is really mixing that creativity, technology, and data and providing new solutions. I am in no way connected to Fortnite. I don't even play it. But this really amazes me. It's just a great example of what you could do. So this is one, radical shifts in media. 2, We're now in a customer experience economy. So if you look at a lot of examples right now, it's all about who delivers the best experience. Banks, for example, can't give you more money if you put your money in savings because it's like almost zero. So they distinguish themselves now by better apps, better service. This is really very important if your brand wants to survive, like Coca-Cola. The platforms also need addressing. I love Amazon. We have a lot of, we ourselves do a lot of work on Amazon or Facebook or WeChat, the example that's here from China. You can't even do business in China if you're not like addressing WeChat. You just can't go on the internet and think you can do what you do over here. But you need a strategy for it. You need to try things out with your brand and your agency to make them work, or the TikTok example. 1 billion users on TikTok, what the hell? And direct to consumer. Sonos is a great example. I bought one, it's like a Trojan horse, I now have 6. And I still want more. They just brought out the Sonos Move, and I was like, oh, I need one. Because now it has Bluetooth, but it already had Bluetooth on other speakers for years. So why do I want this one? Because it connects with the ecosystem I already have. And it connects with the integrated app and the data and all the things Sonos already knows from me. That's why I want it. So, another important one. And my last one, the value of data. So, don't get me wrong, data is not a thing in itself, but if data helps you to create new business models, like the one Amazon has here, where you don't have to go to a checkout anymore, just say who you are, and then the rest is being tracked, then you're really onto something. Even small experiments with your brand and your agency will help push this forward. So to me, we are in a new reality for brands and businesses. We have new needs. And these new needs lead to new types of brands and new types of agencies working together, trying to reach and connect people and brands. By using creativity, technology, and data, we should be able, if we do it right, cut through all the noise that we're seeing right now, be successful, and stand out. This was my story. Thank you. So, I believe there was room for a couple questions. I don't know if it's going to go up on the thingy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where do you see a real time experience side by side with the physical interaction? I mean, outside, touching a brand or playing with something, you know, with all it's all new on digital, and I fully understand, but where do you see that space for activation kind of?
You're talking about experiential, or? Yeah. So there are a lot of examples, but me personally, so I'm gonna go to, like right now, to the Nike, the new Nike flagship store, and try out the things that are going on there. I think there's a great example where the floors are able to be interchanged because certain products are now more popular on the website, so they will change certain types of screens. The inventory is being changed because certain products are more popular. That would be a good example for me. Oh, okay. That's a good one. Since the impression time for marketing campaigns is so low, what would you say is the best way to increase their attention? Well, that's the hard one. That's the tough one. So we are doing a lot of, I think the short answer would be you should have a native response. That sounds a little bit strange, but like when you have swipe up, have the best swipe up you can imagine. if you have TikTok, we are doing a very large project right now with TikTok. Have the best TikTok thing you can imagine. If the example of Fortnite, don't just put a banner in front of it, but put the shoes actually in the game. So be more native. Try to go off the beaten path. So what's been your biggest challenge so far? Oh wow, this is like going deep. Well, keeping up. That's it, I think. Keeping up with all of you. I really pride myself that I try to read blogs, watch vlogs, go to things like this. And I try to sort of keep ahead. So in the Netherlands, if you would Google, I want to meet an alien, you would see first a picture of me. Because I want to be the guy that looks a little bit further. But the biggest challenge is to stay ahead because everything is going so fast in so many directions. Do you think the future of out-of-home is augmented reality? Well, not sure. But I do think that augmented reality gives a lot of fun options. Like if I would have had great glasses for 10 years from now, I could have looked at beautiful scenery, maybe see my friends. Maybe you will become my friends, but I don't literally see my friends looking back at me. So there's a lot of cool ways to use augmented reality, but I think the hard thing will be to make it contextual and relevant in the moment. And we'll have to see who's going to do it the right way. So, yeah. Yeah.
So I've got a couple of 11-year-olds myself.
Yeah.
Play Fortnite. I saw the Fortnite example. And this is here's my question, just to play devil's advocate. So how is it different from like product placement and let's say a TV show from the 50s or 60s versus the product placement you saw in Fortnite?
Yeah. So I think it's a good point and valid, but I think the difference in Fortnite is that I am actually in a concert opposed to something that is pushed one to many. It's me and my friends enjoying something together, real time, contextual. So I think you are right, and we should be aware of these things. That is, if it's like in Second Life, it was literally like just logos, and then it doesn't work and it dies. So it really needs to add something. So the last example of Fortnite was not only the sneakers, they also introduced a new game mode that combined the two. Yeah? Maybe I don't have questions anymore, so you can shout it out another as well, or I'll just leave you and go do selfies. Okay, thank you.